Hello.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
Whoa, are you for real right now?
I'm for real. Hello and welcome to the Parenting versus Podcast. Podcast.
Parenting versus Podcast 2017.
2017.
We are currently enjoying the wonderful break that is nap time.
It is wonderful. You hear that? It's
We're living it up in the
water.
kiddie pool.
And our tree is currently dying a slow and painful death in this Albuquerque heat. And it's shedding its leaves into our pool that we bought at Target for kicks and giggles.
Kicks and giggles, yes. It is a kiddie pool, but not so much as it is an adult getaway, really. It's like, I can just sit here, I can look at our grapevine, and I can close my eyes and imagine that I am in the Bahamas. Because it's so hot here.
It is super hot. Like the air is hot. It's not something that I have really experienced, like just having just hot, like blow dryer air blasted at me from nature.
Yeah, our kids are so tired, they're napping, and our 5-year-old was like, I don't want to come outside, it's too hot, I just want to play computer games for quiet time. And we were like, well, fine, we'll go sit in your kiddie pool and enjoy it without you. So that's what we're doing.
A new literacy, that's an academic or a pedagogy thing. A new literacy is like having kids be literate at things on the computer, not just like reading stuff, but like being able to read Google search results and know not to click on the Nigerian prince's email link to send him money, things like that.
Still asking for money?
I think he is, but I think they caught him though.
Oh. Yeah, I was gonna send him like all of my money, but you know, I felt bad because he kept wanting me to send it to a Swiss bank account, and I just don't have access to that. So. I'm sure he has good intentions though.
Well, you missed out because they busted this Nigerian prince, and he had like a bunch of cash in his.
He had everybody's money.
Yeah, I think so.
Not mine.
But
shout out to the dollar store today.
Shout out to the dollar store.
I don't know. I was just thinking, like, I have this like lizard here in the pool. It's one of those dollar store lizards that grows in water, and I have to say, well done, dollar store. You've done well. We also got all the decorations for our daughter's birthday party tomorrow at the dollar store, and I just have to say that it's been great.
It has been great.
Yeah.
I think I was emotional for all of our kids' 1-year birthday parties, but for our daughter, you know, I start to think about her 1-year party, and I get a little bit extra emotional. I don't know what the deal is with me.
Is it because she's a female and you feel more protective of her?
No, I just love her more than my sons.
That's not
That's
cool,
the
man.
facts.
That's the facts. I hope not. I hope you love all your kids the same, or at least you love them all equally.
Of course I do. Yeah.
Capacity, right?
Well, shout out to Santa Fe Brewery.
Oh. We're not alcoholics. You just happen to catch us always when we're drinking beer. Because we hang out with you, and it's your fault. It's your fault that you're always listening to us when we drink beer.
Well, it is every day pretty much.
In the summer, it's hot out here.
It is summer.
It is so hot.
And we're not alcoholics.
Not really.
But we do like a nice, cool Santa Fe Nut Brown Ale.
Yeah.
But their slogan is "Hold on to your nuts."
Oh, did not know that. Now I do. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Also, that was pretty interesting going to the Santa Fe Brewery and then go to the boutique. I spilled beer on my beard.
Yeah, that does not help in the case that you're not an alcoholic. It's not funny. Alcoholism's not funny. It's just funny when you have 2 grown adults in a kiddie pool spilling beer, like, on themselves.
That's true.
I mean, I guess we're not putting any chemicals in here, so we might as well spill a little beer, but...
Yeah, we have to dump this. It's a pretty big kiddie pool. Like, I am a grown... Can I say ass?
You can say whatever you want.
I'm a grown ass man, and I'm probably like 6'1", do you think?
Yeah.
And I can sprawl. Like, I am sprawled all the way out, and I'm floating. So it's a pretty big kiddie pool, but we have to dump it at least 2 to 3 times a week. We've only had it for a week, so I've dumped it once. But the other day, I didn't tell you this, but we were swimming in it, and I was feeling the sides of the pool, and it was kind of slimy, like mold was already growing.
Gross.
So I had to dump it out, and I cleaned it, I scrubbed it, and I put fresh water, and that was yesterday. So we're swimming in 1-day-old water.
Oh, lovely. Well,
The water's not bad right now.
No,
It's pretty clear.
It's okay. It is really hot, though. I can't get over this heat, and I'm sorry if I keep talking about it.
You're in a pool.
Yeah, that's true.
What are you looking up?
I'm trying to text my mom to see if we can borrow a patio set for the party tomorrow.
No.
Wait, shh. Do you hear that?
I don't hear it.
It's like Jurassic Park.
It's like Jurassic Park in our neighborhood.
Velociraptors.
Velociraptor's the homie that lives down the street.
His name's like Velociraptor, eh? And he's a rapper, eh?
Velociraptor?
Velociraptor, aight?
He drives the lowrider bike.
Oh my gosh.
He has the tattoo of the Virgin de Guadalupe on his shoulder.
And on his back, he's got his last name, and it's probably Romero. So we're not making fun of New Mexicans at all right now.
No, not at all.
We're not sarcastic
Oh,
about it.
I was going to mention that, though. We went to the Man Boutique at the Green Jeans.
The Brotique.
The Brotique. And
Do you want to shout out them, too?
shout out. They had some good beard oils that Lindsay actually bought me.
I did buy him some New Mexico-made beard oil.
Yeah. I say actually and like all the time, though. I need to stop. But, what was it? Oh, yeah. Lindsay bought...
Wow.
I'm just overwhelmed with relaxation right now. She bought the beard oils, and they're very fancy.
There.
And I was going to say they taste nice, but I don't know how they taste. They probably taste gross, but they smell delectable.
Yeah. They're locally made, which is awesome. And my husband has a beard, so that's pretty great. And he needs to get that beard in check. So beard oils are definitely the way to go. I do want to get you a beard comb, actually.
Yeah.
Beard combs are sweet. And we have a friend here in New Mexico named Kyle.
I was just going to say that. I wonder if he's the guy that makes the beard combs they sell.
I don't think it's the same beard combs, but I'm going to shout out Kyle because he has some awesome stuff. So my buddy Kyle, ex-coworker here in New Mexico, makes these like wooden beard combs. They are sweet. They're called Big Wood. It's a grown-up name. You can go online. I'm going to find the website for you because they make amazing stuff. I think it's Big Wood.
And then he has that band, the Squash Blossom Boys.
Yes. And Kyle's just an all-around rad guy. He's got a lot of things going on, but definitely check out the Big Wood Beard Company. It's bigwoodbeardco.com. And they have all kinds of stuff. They have combs, they have balm, they have beard oil. It's handmade, and it's New Mexico true.
You know, when you listen to a podcast, you're kind of used to being sold stuff, right?
Well, I'm just giving shout outs to like
Our homies.
Yeah.
Like Nature Box. I know everything about Nature Box. Or what's the one with the snacks?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's Nature Box. Oh no, the other one I was thinking about was Blue Apron.
Blue Apron, yeah, you hear a lot about Blue Apron on ads.
Or MeUndies.
Yeah,
Have you heard of MeUndies?
I have, and it's weird to me.
Why is that weird to you?
I don't know, because it's like, you can buy underwear at stores. Like, you don't have to special order them unless you really feel like you are deserving of special undies. And maybe you are. I don't know. Who am I to tell you you're not? But the thing is, like, let's be honest here. Underwear is underwear. And unless you're, like, a stripper, does it really matter? I don't know. Just saying.
Are you discriminating against, well...
Underwearers?
I hate that word, discrimination.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you hate the word underwear. And
because
I was like,
it's overused. I just said discriminating, and you can't discriminate somebody that you're not, like, coming in contact with. What's up?
A stripper?
Yeah, a stripper.
I actually used to work with a girl who stripped on the side.
Huh.
Her name was Diana. We waitressed at a restaurant. It was a terrible restaurant. But no, it was not a strip club. But she asked me to be in her wedding one time. She's like, well, I was just wondering if you'd be like in my wedding. And it was weird because I was like, I don't really know you, like, at all. Like, I sort of feel weird about that. Like, I've worked here for a couple weeks. And, like, all of a sudden, you want me to be in your stripper wedding? I feel a little uncomfortable about this situation right now.
So, you know how in that...
That's the price you pay for being nice sometimes.
You know how that show, Drunk History?
Yeah.
Where they put, like, acting to stories?
Yeah.
Every time you tell me a story, like, I see it acted out. And I could see Lindsay
Who's
saying...
acting in it, though? That's my question.
I don't know.
Like, who's playing
but
who?
you're like, I don't even know you. Then you want me to be in your wedding?
Your stripper wedding? I feel like if I wanted to have somebody be me in a show like that. I mean, I wish it could be Michael Cera, but I'm not a dude. So my second choice.
It could be Michael Cera dressed up in like a blonde wig or
That
something.
would be amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's my first choice. That's my first choice. Absolutely. Michael Cera in a wig would be choice one. But if I had to pick like a female to be me, I feel like I would probably pick Adie Bryant from Saturday Night Live.
You're gonna have to jog my memory on that one.
Bryant. Or
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah, it would probably be Adie Bryant or maybe Cecily Strong because she's hilarious too. Although I am not like I don't have dark skin or dark hair. We could just improvise there though. Aaliyah Shawkat's pretty funny too.
What about the big black girl?
Leslie Jones?
Leslie
Oh,
Jones
that'd
would
be amazing. Okay, all right. So choice one, Michael Cera in a wig. Choice two, Leslie Jones for sure. No, I get you. I do like me some Leslie Jones. She's hilarious and amazing in so many ways. I love when she gives Colin Jost like a bunch of crap, and she calls him like little pet names like my little vanilla wafer. You know?
My little chocolate white chunk, white chocolate chunk.
Yeah. I know. Oh my gosh, that's great. So maybe it would be Leslie Jones. Still Michael Cera in a wig. Number one. Number two, Leslie Jones. Number three. Well, number two could be Leslie Jones or like another SNL cast member because they're all pretty great. Number three, I feel like I'm missing somebody, and I don't know who that is. Yeah, I have to think about
Kirsten Dunst.
No. Oh my gosh, everybody. When I was younger, people used to tell me all the time, you look like Kirsten Dunst. Did you know that you look like Kirsten Dunst? Who's that girl in Interview with the Vampire? You look like her. Okay, here's the thing. Just because we're both blonde and sort of Scandinavian does not mean we look alike.
And sort of Scandinavian.
Whatever. I just, it's not confirmed. I mean, we can pretty much, infer that I am. Because.
True. And I'm 0.1% Scandinavian.
Congratulations.
I am. Congratulated.
No, I mean, she's a gorgeous lady, but like, it's
Woman.
weird. Woman, lady. I remember yesterday, when I said I like the term lady better than woman. I'm not sure why. I'm sticking with that. So yeah, I don't know who number three would be. I have to think about it and I'll get back to you. Oh, you know who it would be? I know who it would be. And I can't think of her name right now, but she's on The Last Man on Earth.
Oh, she was in. She's the little girl. Oh, excuse me. Heartburn. Santa Fe Brewery.
Ooh,
Thanks.
there's a bee.
That's a wasp, dear.
Get out of here. Wasp.
Don't kick it.
I'm gonna kick it until
Wasps-
it leaves. Oh, shit.
Wasps, like, they hold grudges. They recognize
hope they
facial
do.
patterns.
Let's fight it out, wasp.
They have knives.
What? On their butts?
I told Luke yesterday that Luke asked me, like, what is that?
Kristen Shaw.
Kristen Shaw. Is that
Yeah.
her name?
Yeah, that's her
I
name.
had no idea.
Oh,
I was going to say the little girl with the rabbit ears on Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, she's hilarious. And Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, yeah, Fly the Conchords. That was one of my favorites.
She'd be choice three. I think I've got it pretty much covered. I don't think I need a choice four.
I only have one choice for who would play me.
Who?
It would be Maui, demigod, shapeshifter.
There's a wasp by your hand. He just wants your beer.
That's not a wasp. That's a bee. Bees are nice.
I keep hearing
And-
things that sound like our children, but
No.
no.
I told Luke that wasps are like bees, but they have like bees with a temper. I think I told him. It was funnier when I told it to him, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it might have been.
Yeah.
Because I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because I'm not laughing. So you're gonna go to Zoom music tonight, are ya?
Yeah, that's boring.
That's not what. That's what you're doing, are
No,
you?
Zoom music is gonna be fun, but talking about Zoom music is not interesting at all.
You want to talk about jazz flute?
We could talk about jazz flute. We could talk about how I don't feel like the Bible is the breathed word of God anymore.
You should have Will Ferrell play you in your drunk history thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Did you know? I was looking at celebrity prom pictures. I don't know. I was killing some time one day, murdering some time, and Will Ferrell's was really funny because you can tell he's always been the same kind of like funny person. He was wearing the crown, and his date was like holding him from behind, and he was sitting in the chair, and it was amazing. And I was just like, you know what? I totally love this. Like, some people are just true to themselves, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Will Ferrell, if you ever listen to this, even though you probably never will, you're awesome. And we should definitely have a beer sometime.
Maybe Will Ferrell's relatives will listen to this in like 150 years from
Your
now.
kids can come play in our kiddie pool, even though your pool is probably way cooler than ours. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, in 150 years, this kiddie pool will still be here at our home in Albuquerque.
Dude, I think Riley is awake, and I think he's talking in his room.
No, is he crying?
No, but I hear...
Then he's good. Just saying. So,
This doesn't make sense.
what doesn't make sense?
This.
I think we might be running out of things to talk about. Do you want to wrap her up?
No, I mean, okay, so my kids' grandma bought them like this little grenade. It's like a water gun grenade. But like, why would you want to squish it if it was a grenade to make it go off? Like, you wouldn't want to pull the pin and hold on to it.
What do you expect? You expect a little water balloon to explode?
Yes, why can't they make this more exciting? Or real to life? This is not teaching them good skills.
I have no clue.
Like, pull the pin, throw that thing. Did you see that little homie guy when we pulled up today? Riding that mini, like, lowrider bike?
I did.
I was so weirded out. It looked like a
That was
cow.
Consuelo.
What?
His name's Consuelo. You didn't know that?
You don't know his name?
His name was probably
You
Consuelo.
don't brush his hair.
I probably did brush his hair once or twice.
Okay. So this is taking a turn for the worst. So if you were, let's say someone was doing a movie of your life. I want to ask you questions because I never get to ask the questions, but I'm going to ask them today.
Do it.
Let's say that somebody is...
Stop.
What?
Stop.
Are you ticklish? Okay. Anyway.
I think we might be getting a little bit
No.
intimate.
It's the heat. Trust me on that one. So if somebody was going to play you in your life movie, like your lifetime movie, like they were going to make a movie of Lorenzo's life, okay? And it was like you had to seriously pick somebody to play you, and they're like, anybody can play you in your movie. Who would play kid you? Who would play teenager you? And who would play adult you?
Kid me would... I don't know if they're... See, there's not a whole lot of actors I can choose from that are the same race, but
Well, race aside, let's just say anybody.
Kid me would be like an introverted chunk from the Goonies. Somebody who wasn't very outgoing or had friends or really had much going for him. But I was fat when I was a kid.
What about that kid from Nacho Libre?
Oh, Chancho?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Chancho. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know. I was just thinking, like, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool kid. Okay, what about teenager you?
From Hollywood, we got
Drag racing on the street at 3:30 in the...
drag racing in Albuquerque. Teenager me, damn, that guy's going fast. Teenager me, that's a hard one.
I'm not going to say it because I can't give you all the answers.
No,
But
just tell me.
I have an idea.
Okay, what is it?
Mike Herrera in the 90s.
Yeah, except for my career in the 90s was probably way cooler than I am.
But that aside, like, it can be anybody. It can be any single person on this planet. Like, it doesn't matter if it's true to... it could be anybody.
I wouldn't squirt that
Why?
because it's freaking Diego out.
It's a squirt gun. He's just having fun. All right. Anyway, sorry, Diego. Time's over.
So, teenager from the 90s, man, I don't know any actors. I really don't.
Just say, like, that guy from that one show, and then give us some ideas.
I don't know any actors. I really don't.
Okay. So, what about... So, teenager you could be, like, Mike Herrera in the 90s, because
Okay,
you're an
fine.
MXPX freak.
I am.
And that's okay. That's okay. And then... adult you?
Adult me, I would say... Maybe Jim from The Office.
Interesting choice, but I get it. I get it.
Okay.
That's not bad.
I'll take it.
Okay. All right.
I'll be the Mexican Jim from The
The
Office.
Mexican Jim. You're not even Mexican, dude.
I'm super brown.
That doesn't equate to Mexican.
Okay, fine.
Your ethnicity is correct, sir.
Yeah.
I keep looking in the sky and hoping there's going to be like a giant cloud, but there's nothing there.
Nope,
Nothing
just
but death.
soror cactuses and what do they call those things? Vultures?
Neither of those things are things that we have here. Well, we have vultures.
We have vultures, but not soror cactuses.
Ugh,
But
yeah.
this summer we do have the heat.
Yes, we do. I think if somebody was going to play like childhood me, I'm trying to think of who that would be. I don't really know either.
Maybe the Olsen twins.
Ugh. No. No, thank you. Although that's a very 90s choice of you. I mean, I don't know. Like, Rainbow Bright? Can Rainbow Bright be one of the choices? This wasp has it out. For me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry.
So, have you listened to any good podcasts lately?
Good podcasts? Not necessarily good ones. I mean, I'm trying to think of the one I was listening to the other day. I listened to the 48 Hours podcast, which is essentially the show just in a podcast.
So it's just like the audio.
It's the audio. You're not seeing anything, but it's actually kind of interesting to listen to anyway. Even though you're not seeing the visual, it's still good. You can follow the storyline. So that's always fun to listen to. Just crime again.
Can I tell you about a podcast I listened to?
Is it the Bad Christian podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's actually not.
Go ahead.
So one podcast that is slowly becoming my favorite, and it was really good for a long time, but I stopped listening to it. But it's called The Pastor with No Answers with Joey Svensson. And he's this pastor from a church called Seacoast Church.
Not familiar.
And I guess they're a huge mega church in the South. Like big. They're big.
I wouldn't know.
But he talks a lot about just like topics that are very
Controversial?
I guess you can say controversial, like topics that are like not handled by the church at all,
Or just not touched or kind
like
of
not
stagnant.
touched and avoided sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the topic that he's talking about yesterday was bisexuality. And I was kind of halfway listening to it. I was like listening to it while I was playing with Luke. But is that Riley talking? That's cool. We'll get him in a second. He's not crying, like I said. He's probably just like laying there and resting.
Take a nap, because you should take a nap.
So he was talking with this guest who identifies as bisexual, but she's also a Christian. So it was a really interesting conversation.
Did he ask her, are you choosing this? Because a lot of Christians would assume that she's choosing that.
He asks a lot of just point blank questions that are do you know how a lot of podcasts, a lot of interviews, they ask questions that are kind of around the subject and
To try to get people to go deeper into the actual.
right.
Yeah.
He just asks like just point blank questions. I think it kind of throws people off a little bit too with them. But
maybe it's necessary.
right. But he was just talking about that with her, and
what did she say?
well, she had a lot to say. But I thought it was just an interesting sort of topic that the church doesn't deal with doesn't deal well with is the topic of being homosexual, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, whatever else.
No, that's true. And it's a little bit crazy to me that like we are so quick to assume things in the church, like oh, they're choosing that. Like, why would anybody choose to make their life, if they're a religious person in a church like situation, why would they choose to make it harder for themselves? Why would they purposefully choose to be outcasted? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I feel like that's the question that people don't ask. Does that make sense? Like what, people aren't going to naturally choose a difficult path. They're going to choose the path of least resistance most of the time.
Right. But I think that a lot of Christians, can I say quote unquote Christians?
Go ahead, because I think that not all Christians are on the same page. I know I'm not. So.
I think Christians would say, oh, they're living this lifestyle because of their sin. Their sin is causing this. Their sin is causing them all that pain that they're going through.
Their sin is causing them that pain?
Their sin is, the state of sinning that they're in is causing them all this pain. If they went through some sort of homosexual therapy or something, they would Jesus would take all their burdens, including their homosexuality, and then they'd be able to live a good life.
But that's the thing. How do we know that that's biblical? That response, I mean, how do you know that's biblical? We don't know that.
The whole
There's a lot of things that are assumed about the way the Bible is stated, but I would say that that's just it. It's an assumption. We can assume a lot, but we should never be completely sure, because sometimes there are things in the Bible that are not talked about, or they're very briefly talked about, or not at all.
And that's, you brought up a good point too, because the Bible is looked at as the inerrant, so it means it has no errors. It is the Word of God, and what is said is to be interpreted literal and with complete authority. And I was listening to another podcast. I mean, man, I listen to podcasts all day long, I guess.
Okay.
But I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about maybe the Bible has become an idol in Christian thought and just in Christianity in general.
Could be. Well, it's funny because people will always say something is your idol when their agenda is to get you to walk away from that something. You know, there's a lot of things that can be idols, but like, then you go back to that whole idea of legalism and religion. And if Jesus died for your sins and his grace is sufficient and it covered everything, and that's what Christians claim to believe, is that, you know, he died on the cross and that it covered everything. Why would his dying on the cross not cover somebody's sin who's gay? Why are we picking and choosing that one is like out of the box for us?
Right. Like, that's beyond...
Like, even if you think it's a sin, even if you are convinced that they are living a sinful life, like, why is that sin so different from, like, the sins that you commit? Like, what makes you so much better? Like, I mean, you can be gay and somebody might think you're sinning. You can be a wife beater and somebody's going to call you out and say you're sinning. You could be an alcoholic. You could be a glutton. I mean, there's so many things in the Bible that you can sin with. Why do we pick and choose the ones that we find convenient or that make us feel better?
You're exactly right. I mean, how many times or just think about like a church potluck where at the end of church, we all get together and we enjoy a meal together, which is fun and nice and great. And I think it's building community and that's wonderful. But you have that first plate and you're like, man, I am so full, but holy cow, Nana's green bean casserole is so delicious, and that fried chicken, I didn't get to try it. It looks so good. So you go
eat for the sake of eating, and I'm going to be gluttonous even though I'm not hungry and my stomach is full.
Right. So you just keep eating and eating and eating.
Try going to Bible college in Missouri, friend.
Yeah. So you just do that. You just do that at church, and is that right?
Some people might say that's sinful because there's people that are starving. You don't need it. You're eating it out of pleasure and out of like recreation, not because your body needs it or because you're hungry.
Right. You're not like sustaining yourself.
Right.
You're in community, but you probably eating too much. But
the point is, we don't pick and choose that.
Yeah.
It's a minor offense to Christians. Like, and it's actually, I wouldn't even say it's a minor offense. I think that a lot of times we don't even look at it as something that's
No, it's
offensive.
acceptable. You brag about it.
Yeah. Oh, I ate so much, I'm so full.
Yeah, you brag about how full you are to other people.
But it's like, would you say that if you were in Africa next to a child who's been starving or an adult who's been starving for days? Would you be like, oh man, I'm so full, I ate so much today?
Absolutely not.
Think about how offensive that is.
Yeah.
You know, it's hurtful and it's offensive. And so why do we pick and choose like sexuality as like the one like non-forgivable thing? I don't understand that. I don't either. And I hate how people dance around it. Like, oh, well, he's gay. And it's like, okay, why don't you just say it out loud? And why don't you just talk about it like what it is? Because he may be gay, but you're kind of being a judgmental jerk right now. Like, I mean, who's right, who's wrong? That's the issue I have. Like, I'm a Christian, and it is hard for me to even, like, identify with that, like, that idea in the church that, like, a gay affirming, non-gay affirming. Like, we base entire denominations on that. It's ridiculous.
I think it is, but it's the way things are. And if there's a pastor out there that says, you know what, man, like, I want to love people like Jesus loved people, and I just think I'm going to love gay people, he can lose his whole career, or she. And by the way, I think pastors should be women too.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, people, if you are going to my church and you hear me say that and you're like, man, you suck. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not sorry, but I think that...
Well, women can be missionaries, and they teach and they lead people.
Yeah.
And pastors teach and lead people. So what is the difference between doing missionary work as a female?
I'm such a hippie. I was just thinking about like the female characteristics of God and how God is given a gender, but gender is for reproducing, right? Biologically, gender is for reproducing. But women and men, I mean, we have different characteristics. It's true. I mean, we're all different as humans. As human being, every human being is different. But there is a mothering characteristic and there is a fathering characteristic, and God possesses both of those, I believe.
I think so too.
So God can be...
Well, God is the all-encompassing element of all those attributes in one being.
Mm.
And I think that's why, he's God, or she's God, or, well, I'm not going to say she, but like...
You can say he just
That's why God is God. Let's leave it at that.
Right.
Because I think that there's a whole different conversation, and people are going to say, oh, you think God's a woman? No, I think God is actually genderless. I don't think that God has a gender. I think that God is God, and God can do whatever he wants, the end. Like,
right.
As I say he wants, but that's just, it's easier for me to say it like that.
Yeah, I mean,
God can be God, and God doesn't need me to tell him how, or I keep saying him because it's like culturally ingrained in my brain.
No, I mean, I think that's fine.
But it's just...
But for me, I think it even sounds kind of funny coming out of my mouth, but I have seen the female characteristics of God kind of pointed out to me recently. Just like the mothering, sort of nurturing and loving side of things. And I think fathers can be that way too.
Okay.
But there's a special bond you have with your mother, and I think that... And anyway, I don't know.
No, but it's a necessary bond, and that's the thing. But then people will go back and say, well, that just goes to show that there should be a man and a woman in a relationship, and that's how God was made, and that's how God made it, and da-da-da-da. Which, okay. We see plenty of examples of that in the Bible. My other question to you would be, God talks about a man and a woman being together in a relationship. But then in the Bible, you have people that are like, you have relationships that are a man and a woman and a woman and a woman. Like, you have Abraham, he had lots of wives. You have these characters in the Bible who are godly people, and yet they have lots of wives, and they are sleeping with lots of people. So my question is it more sinful to be gay, or is it more sinful to be polygamous? Because honestly, if we're going to boil it down that much, like, now we're just talking about technicalities.
And that's when you can get caught up and I think we have gotten caught up with that.
And that's not even the point.
No, I agree. But then we start trying to figure out, like, oh man, what are the sins? I need to list them all out. I need to list all the sins out so I can avoid all these sins. And these sins are greater than these sins. These sins aren't so bad. But it's like you said, it doesn't even matter, right?
Jesus covered all of them. So no, it doesn't matter. I mean, the only thing that matters is, like, if you're a Christian and you proclaim and you proclaim to be that.
Oh, we popped our kiddie pool.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta put water in it. That kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I thought somebody was, like, in our garage spraying an air gun or something. I don't understand. What do you mean we popped it?
Oh, there are 2 air chambers of our pool, and one of the plugs came out and it let all the air out.
Okay, so it's not like it's broken.
No, it's not broken. I just gotta fill it back up with air.
News. We're just huge.
No, they're very weakly sealed.
I feel like I'm gonna judge you because you're a huge sinner and you pop balloons and you pop air pools.
Feel free.
But the point is, if you are a Christian and you proclaim to be a Christian, then you believe that Jesus died on the cross for all of your sins, and not just your sins, but everybody else's sins too. And if you see one sin, you see them all. And all sins are sins to God. And I don't think he's got a list of, like, this one's more sinful, this one's less sinful. The point is that we are all sinned, and we've all sinned, and we've fallen short of the glory of God. I'm sure you've heard that if you've gone to church. So the fact that we are all sinners shouldn't make it easy for you as a sinner to condemn another sinner. That's the point. I'll get off my big soapbox now, but I will say this. I went to Bible college for a while to, like, explore my faith and my Christianity, and I came out of Bible college learning a lot about what Christians aren't versus what they should be. Mm-hmm. It was like the opposite experience for me that it was for a lot of people.
Right. I wonder how many people go to Bible college and come out of Bible college atheists.
A lot, actually. No, a lot. There was a guy that I went to Bible college with who came to school as an atheist, and he was actually, it was really sad. He was severely depressed, and he was going to kill himself, like during one of the chapels. And we became friends. He was actually a communist. We became friends, and we were talking, and my roommate and I ended up becoming friends with him, and he literally told us, like, part of the reason I'm not going to do something terrible to myself in front of all these people is because you were actually kind to me. And he had never experienced Christians being kind to him. He went to Bible college as a reason, like an excuse to allow him to do something terrible. And so he came out, and I'm not saying like, oh, I saved his life. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Point is, I'm saying that you don't know, even in a Christian surrounding, who you're talking to, what their background is, what their intent is. So why don't you just be nice and treat people like human beings? Because you really don't know what people are dealing with, and you don't know what they're carrying with them, and you don't know what their belief system is. And whether or not they're, quote unquote, they're gay or they're straight or they're whatever, that is not the point. The point is they are a human being that needs to be loved. They're a human being that needs acceptance, and they're a human being that needs friendship, just like you and just like me. So, you know, all the gay hating and stuff in church, like, not an excuse. Not at all.
I completely agree. And you're not going to make friends in the church by having that attitude either.
I guess I'm more on the liberal side of things. If you want to throw a label on it, like, I'll take it. I don't care what you call me, really, but it's not even arrogance. It's just, I feel like people so often, like, they miss the point. We get so tied up in these details that we miss the point of what Jesus' love can actually do. Because we're too concerned with somebody's sexual preference or their addiction, or we define them by their sin rather than by, like, the fact that they're loved. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense. So,
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is a topic that can be talked on for hours and hours and hours, I think, and that's something I've been thinking about a whole lot. And there are all sorts of podcasts that are coming out that are on this topic, and I think, yeah, for sure, I've been influenced by these podcasts. But I think it's something that for both of us and a lot of people, they need to do their own thinking and their own just kind of contemplating on stuff, and
you know, and here's the thing too, like with hardcore, like, evangelicals, you know, telling people that they're going to go to hell isn't going to scare them into heaven. You know what I mean? Like, telling them that living their life and, like, you're going to burn, you're going to go to hell if you keep doing this. Okay, that might work for like one person out of like 500, but honestly, that doesn't show compassion, it doesn't show relationship, and it doesn't show that you actually care about the person.
Right. And for me, it doesn't jive with like the character of who I think God is either.
Well,
like,
it just confirms people's deepest, like, held beliefs about Christians,
right,
is that they're judgmental jerks.
Hell's a really hard thing for me, because I'm like, okay, well, I was told God is all loving. God cares for me. He knows the number of hairs on my head. He knew me since I was in the womb, and I was in the womb, and all this other stuff. And he does all this stuff, yet as a father, if I don't know, think of something bad. If I do this and I don't repent of it, he's going to send me to hell to burn and burn and burn and burn forever and ever 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 and ever. Like, for me, that doesn't make sense for a God who is, like, I was told God is love. So how does this idea of hell make sense? And that's something I'm kind of working through myself. And I guess there are three main schools of thought in that realm. There is, you burn in hell is one, which everybody knows. Two, there's annihilationism, which means basically that, like, if you are not a Christian, you're annihilated. You just cease to exist. Like, you just don't exist anymore. And three, there's, I think it's called universalism, which means that basically, you know, God...
All paths lead to the same place, right?
Sort of. It's like, it says, and I'm not an expert by any means, but it says basically that, you know, God's love has no limits. And I think that's what the Rob Bell book was about. But God's love has no limits, and he loves you so much that, you know, regardless of what you do, you are going to spend an eternity with God on a redeemed earth or whatever. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of thought that's been put towards all three.
Our city's on fire again.
I know, I guess so.
Hear the sirens?
But it's really hard for me to understand the hell piece, and I'm just gonna say that. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No, I agree, but that's another topic for another time.
yeah, it is, and we can be more versed and we can talk about it, I guess. I mean, I know this isn't like a theology thing, but it's part of your life.
No, it's the things we think about, it's the things we talk about, it's the things that we care about. So that's a good conversation to have, because I think no matter what walk of life you're from, like, this crosses your mind at some point or another. Like, your viability as a human being and the fact that you're gonna die is something that everybody thinks about.
Dude, people are hearing my thoughts, and it depends on what part of life they are, but I have a feeling people were not gonna like what I would say.
Who cares? Don't care so much.
I guess I don't even know how many people are listening to this far into one
That's the whole
episode,
thing.
but
It doesn't matter. I think your thoughts are your own, and people can take them or leave them.
yeah, I agree with you.
Well, this has been lovely. I'm going to get out of this pool that is rapidly deflating.
I think it's deflated to the lowest point. It's going to deflate. It is pretty low, though.
Yeah, we should probably get out. We got to decorate for our daughter's birthday tomorrow. So
Yay.
yeah.
Juliet's one. Woohoo.
Happy birthday, Juju.
All right.